Well, hey everybody, Leslie here. Glad you're with me today. It's Friday as I'm recording this. And I'm keeping my glasses on more in this video because I need to read my notes to help me remember, okay? Because there's quite a few things I want to talk to you about. You know, we did the 8 points, which I highly suggest you watch from beginning to end and take notes as you go. And this particular video will help you regarding the previous tips on getting unstuck that are on my channel here, as well as this video today. So if you have a notebook or a journal that you use, let's get going. And I'm a person who doesn't really journal, but writes down lists of things like I want to do. And so I have a lot of notebooks like that, you know, from CVS or Walgreens. And I'll show you right here. And what I had to start doing was labeling them because I needed to be more organized in the topics, but a lot of loose papers, but notebooks like that. And it can be a fancier journal, whatever's comfortable for you, what you like. But I would start answering these questions I'm going to pose to you today. And it's a reality check. And those tips 1 through 8 are a definite reality check. So when you face the truth, it can give you this freedom, and you can like let a sigh of relief out. Like, oh, like if you face the fact that you're not good with money and your checking account is a wreck. When I first went out, got a checking account, I was not good at keeping that baby balanced. And I got some little credit cards, department store credit cards, and they kept the amount you could charge very low, like a couple $100, and wasn't doing the best thing I could to build good credit. So I had to wrap my head around getting better at that. And once I confessed that, not to anybody else in particular, but to me, and between my husband and I was in my early 20s when we got married, and the only way we would ever get to go on a vacation with not very much money coming in would be to squirrel away some money during the whole year, so that, yes, we would drive 18 hours to go to our folks' houses and stay with them. So there were no hotel bills, and we would pack a cooler, that type of stuff. So we weren't overspending, but we were trying to figure out ways to manage every single penny that was entrusted to us. So, and it wasn't a lot. So I had to get real about why I didn't like keeping a budget, because I wanted freedom with money I didn't have. And that doesn't make any sense, but we do that. So what is it that you need to fess up to within yourself? Are you interested in this particular career or no? Or you need to look at something else? What's the pull? And be honest with yourself about that. Is it for you or not? And why not, or why? And list that out. There's freedom in doing that. It's facing the truth of why. So let's go to some questions here that will be helpful. I think it's important every single day, if you can, to get alone so that you have time between you and the Lord. And saying, I don't know what I'm doing, confessing, or can you show me this? Praying over everything you're doing. It really, really helps. And maybe you're doing that during your lunch hour. Maybe you're doing that all during the day. It may be at night that you're doing it, when things quiet down a little bit. And that's how I would talk to the Lord until I fell asleep, because sometimes my mind will race, where you have all these thoughts, and then I couldn't go to sleep because the adrenaline was pumping. And then I would just pray about certain people in my life and circumstances, and issues I was dealing with, and I would end up falling asleep in conversation. And that's what it is. So, getting unstuck means you've got to face reality and talk to the one who matters, you know? Okay, so let's look at the next thing. Um, when you get alone like that, write down what you're being impressed with. Like, what is God trying to tell you? What direction is he telling you to go in? Do you feel a peace about this direction or no? Do you feel peaceful about it? If you feel scared, that's one thing. That's normal. But do you feel a peace about it, as if this is the right thing to do? Now, as I've said before, sometimes you have to move forward and go into it to find out the answer to that. But those are the good things to jot down, like what you're facing, put down the date, and refer back to it. And maybe a week later, you're going to have some clarity, or more clear vision of where you're supposed to be. So, what today is it time to do? What's a next step you can take for you, and get real about this? And what is it time to say? Sometimes we have to admit to ourselves that this is for us. We are really interested in this, or we're not, or we have to get better at certain things in our lives, with relationships, with money, with our whatever it is, our talking to God every day. What is it that you need to get better at? Admit it to yourself. That's the first real step in getting unstuck. Admit it, and then seek out solutions readily apparent, and we have to sit back and wait. And patience has not been a strong suit of mine over the years. So then you pray for patience. And what is it time to change? And patience could be one of them. And that takes practice. It's like, okay, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to sit back and wait. But you also have to put in the effort and not expect something to be dropped in your lap without the effort. That there'll be a person arrives at your door with the job of your dreams and said, here, we needed you. No, that's not going to happen. So that takes consistency and belief in yourself, and that confidence will build. God will give you those abilities to, and say, here, you can do it. You're my child, right? You're my child. Keep on going. Keep on going forward. So here are some questions for you in order to tell yourself the truth. And this is about telling the truth to you. What are you afraid to admit right now? Is it that you overspend? Is it in the finance area? If so, then I highly recommend getting a copy, used, new, whatever, of Financial Peace by Dave Ramsey. Go on Amazon. He's all over Amazon, and he's on the radio as well. He has a daily radio show. So try to get those things in order. Be faithful with the money that God has entrusted you with. Here's the next question. What are you afraid will really happen if you take action? Because sometimes we can be afraid of the ball rolling. It starts to roll and we're like, oh no, I can't face that now. And when it's time to face it. So list those things. What am I afraid of if I start to take action? Or are you afraid of rejection? Well, I face rejection every single day in my everyday life. And being rejected in 7th grade helped me because I don't fear it as much. But, rejection by my mother at times and by different people in my family, really hard to take. But I had to honestly not worry so much about people who are into that mode. So be careful who, again, I'll preach this till I fall over. Be careful who you share your dreams with, okay? Be very careful. But it's good to say to somebody what you're doing, because it makes it more real that, yes, I am going down this path and I'm proud of that. And whatever the path is, whatever that path is. Now, whose approval are you so afraid of not getting that you forget your dreams, your vision, and that reason to go forward? See? So, do you really need to have the okay from specific people in your life to go forward? No. He has a plan and a purpose for you, and he's placing a dream and desires on your heart for a reason. So other people are not to stop you from that. Now, going into debt up to your ears, no. That's not a way to go forward. And you don't need to go to school to get in this career. So why would you be going into debt? You made an assumption with that one. Okay, that assumption needs to be tossed out. What do you avoid because you don't want to face what happens when you do change? So what is it that you're afraid of? Are you afraid that you can't rise to a level that you're putting way up here to be a paralegal? You're not a lawyer. So what, it's an important job, but why are you're like, oh, I could never get there. Really? If you have those foundation skills that I talk about in a lot of my videos, you can get there. So don't start making up stuff in your mind about this position or any other position. And what do you have to let go of in order to move into the purpose that God has for you? What is it that you have to go, bye-bye? For me, it's fear. I had to go to the doctor's yesterday because I have something that's on my finger and I do type. So that's important that these all work. And it was no big deal, but I put it off for a year because of, I don't want to deal with it. It's, I don't know what would happen. I might have to have surgery. No, I don't really, at this point, need surgery or anything. I made it bigger in my head. So don't make this bigger in your head. What is it that if you change, that you're going to start a ball rolling that you're afraid you can't stop? You can stop it at any time. But are you afraid you won't achieve the dream that you have? Everybody is fearful of that. That what if? You have to put the what ifs in the background and just go forward. And leave what ifs in the past. So on all of these questions that I've put forward, what is it time to do? What is it time to say? And saying what you're doing to somebody that will support you is very important. To say, I have an aunt, and when my grandmother was living, I could say it to her and say what I was doing, and she would go, oh, and that was enough. I know she didn't fully understand certain things, but my aunt doesn't understand what a paralegal does either, but she will support me. Other people in my life, not so much. Even if it was, I changed a job at one point, and my mother didn't want to tell my father that I changed my job. And my older aunt, the one who supports, chastised her younger sister, saying, you should support them. So it's funny, and heartbreaking at the same time that people cannot climb out of themselves to support you. You cannot be held back because of that. And it's very common. And a lot is wrapped up into it. When it comes to our parents, sometimes it's fear because they're afraid that it might not work, and that it's a fear thing. But in other respects, from other people, it could be jealousy. I don't think it's jealousy from parents, but you never know. But in my case, it was not jealousy. But with friends and family, it can be jealousy. So you have to be careful and write all those questions down and start to answer them for yourself so that you are brought into reality about where you are right now, what you have to do, and make a list of those things and push forward. When you start to push forward, it's like a boulder is off your back, like this release. And that is a beautiful thing. It's like you're starting to walk forward and you're letting go of the wagon of the past, of the present, and things that are holding you back. you know, and not all of it's based in reality. Excuse me. So, what change are you going to make today? Get a journal, get a notebook, get a piece of paper, start writing down answers, okay, and start moving forward. That's it for today, Friday. Have a great weekend, and I will see you in the next video, more than likely on Monday. Take care. Bye.